What's up, YouTube? It's been a while. Thought I'd get back into it by answering a question that I get from time to time. That's kind of an important question, which is, what is the difference between a classical guitar and a flamenco guitar? And it's more than just the difference between a violin and a fiddle, which with that is usually the way that you play it or what style you're playing with it. There are some differences between a guitar that is set up for playing classical and a guitar that is set up for playing flamenco. The things they have in common is they're both played with nylon strings. They both have 6 strings. They're tuned the same. The scale is the same. And some of the materials are the same. The headstock will usually be the same. You have the same kind of tuners. No, on a flamenco guitar, you do not have to have violin pegs. You can have regular machine tuners, regular nut. This is a classical guitar. This is my classical guitar. And one of the ways that you can tell it's not a flamenco guitar is right away, it has a dark wood top. This is a cedar top. It's not that you can't play flamenco on a cedar top guitar. It's just, it's really rare. I don't think I've ever seen an actual flamenco guitar player play flamenco on a cedar top guitar in a serious fashion. It's almost always spruce. Now you can have a classical guitar with a spruce top, and you can have a classical guitar with a cedar top, but usually you're not going to have a flamenco guitar with a cedar top. It's almost always going to be a spruce top. So cedar top, you're looking at a classical. The other thing that we'll look at is the height of the strings off both the fingerboard, which is rather high, if you can see there. You can probably see my eyes a little bit through there. Especially right here, you can stack up a couple pennies, probably. And definitely right here on the top of the fingerboard. Or the top of the soundboard. I can fit almost a whole finger underneath these strings with relatively ease. That's a pretty high action. So classical guitar will usually have a high action because we're trying to avoid, especially down in the lower register, string buzz. We don't want, let's see if I can get it to buzz. Yeah, we don't want that sound. We usually want a nice clean bass tone. That's the goal of a classical guitar. A flamenco guitar, we're more looking at just a different tone in general, and also to play with ease and facility, especially with the left hand and the right hand. That's why we'll have a low action there. So this is a classical guitar. We'll look at the flamenco guitar in a second. But the things you should take away: high action, okay, high action, cedar top. The back material, we'll talk about with the flamenco. The back material can be the same or it can be different. This is a coca-cola back, which is not going to be seen on a flamenco guitar very frequently. And it's not going to be seen on a classical guitar very frequently. It's a very rare type of back. I'm actually rather fond of this guitar with the sapwood. It's rather pretty. So we'll take a look at my flamenco guitar in a sec and take a look at how that one is different. Alright, I'm back with my flamenco guitar, which is a little bit different than the classical guitar. First thing you should notice is that the color of the wood on the top is a little bit different. It's a nice light honey-colored wood. It's spruce. You can make a classical guitar with a spruce top. In fact, I'd almost say most good classical guitars these days are made with spruce tops. It's very popular. And cedar, for whatever reason, is a little less popular, though I still love it for classical playing. Another thing that you'll notice, almost as important as the top, is, hopefully you can see the line of it there. This guitar has a golpeador, which is a top protector. That's a piece of plastic that allows you to play percussion on top of the guitar without worrying about damaging the top of the guitar, punching a hole in it with your fingernail or something like that. So golpeador is really important. You can't really play flamenco without some kind of thing on the top of the guitar to do all the percussion. The next thing that you'll notice is the action. So the action on this guitar right here, down by the bridge, is very low. Very low. I can't really get a finger under there at all. I have to go over here. I can get a finger in. So it's much lower than my classical guitar. Really a lot closer to the top. And that really helps you do all these sort of low to the top techniques. Another thing about the low bridge is it really changes the tone of the instrument as well. Hopefully you can hear that this tone is very bright and snappy. to me, the mid-range is cut out a lot on the flamenco guitar, which gives it a brighter, more punchy sound. It makes it sound better for Rasgueados and things like that. And I think it makes it a little easier to hear in the context if you're playing with lots of other instruments. So the low bridge also changes the tone. It does have a different sound. It's not quite as big and booming as a classical guitar. The other thing about the action is it'll be low over here, and it's still kind of low here. We like it low on the left hand because we care about playing with lots of facility on the left hand, rather than playing with like perfect clarity. It's not that we want buzzing, but we care more about the facility than we do about the clarity of the sound. With flamenco, it's more about the energy than it is about like having a perfect sort of tone like a classical player would have. So that's why we have that. We have low action here to make it easier to play, and also to give it the right tone. Sometimes we even like a click on the string. That's something that we like in flamenco too. Otherwise, the guitar is mostly the same. You'll have a lot of the same materials. This guitar is what's called a flamenco negra, which means it has a dark colored back and sides. These are Amazon rosewood for the back and the sides. You can have Indian rosewood, is a little bit cheaper. This is mostly to show really beautiful grain and gives it a pretty characteristic sound. Usually you use a negra guitar to play flamenco solos versus playing on what's called a blanca, which will have another nice light colored wood like spruce on the back and the sides called cypress. So a cypress bodied guitar will have a little bit brighter, more trebly sound, which makes it really good for playing with dancers or other musicians. Though I have accompanied dancers with this without any problems. In fact, I prefer negra for everything. But it's got the same headstock, the same tuners, everything's the same. So if you're picking up a guitar, it sounds nice and bright and snappy. It has a golpeador. It's got light colored one on the top, maybe light colored back and sides, and a nice low action. Chances are you're looking at a flamenco guitar and not a classical guitar. Incidentally, a really well-made flamenco guitar like this one will have low action here, kind of high here, and low here. And that's because the neck is set at a little bit of an angle. I don't know if it's possible to see on YouTube. The neck's set at a little bit of an angle. This is not something you'll see on a lot of cheaper factory-made guitars, like the ones that come out of Cordoba, that may look like a flamenco, have a golpeador, have the back and sides, but still have a high action here. You can cut down the action a little bit to give it a little more punchy sound, but have a good luthier do that for you. If you're a classical player, if you have a classical guitar, whatever the top might be, and you want to practice flamenco, of course you can practice flamenco on your classical guitar. There's no reason you cannot. But it's not going to be the ideal instrument to play flamenco once you advance a little bit. So once you get your sort of your rasgueado down and you get the hang of your fingers, start looking for a classical, not a classical guitar, a flamenco guitar that has these elements in it, has the low action and the golpeador to really help you play with the correct sound. That's pretty much it. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to have some more videos on flamenco as soon as I have time to change these strings, which are pretty much coming unraveled right now. I've played so much in the last couple of weeks unfortunately without recording videos, but I'll have some new ones out on how to play bulerias, soliares, which is what people seem to be most interested in. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you want to see. I'm happy to do whatever you want, so have a good one. Hey, I almost forgot, besides playing guitar and making videos about guitar, I also write books. You can read some of them for free over at dvspress.com. That's my website, dvspress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at David V. Stewart. And thanks so much for watching.